So I've made a number of videos testing black powder handguns from different manufacturers and different models. Object was to see what their accuracy potential was and where they'd hit on the target. Doing these tests, I wasn't concerned about hitting the aiming point, as these guns have fixed sights for the most part, so it's not easy to adjust them so the bullets will hit where you're aiming at. I've had comments wondering why I was hitting a target a large distance from the aiming point, and maybe they were thinking that the guns weren't of good quality. As some of these guns have had their sights adjusted, and I worked out a load that shoots pretty good, thought I'd put together a video showing this. Targets were some that were shot when I was making a comparison between using or not using lube on the end of the chambers of my Pietta 1860 Army Rep. I haven't got around to producing that video, so what we have here is a section of those tests, and hopefully by showing part of the testing it doesn't end up being too confusing. Okay, we're loaded up with the third string here with our OR lube and 1860 Pietta Army. Last two groups were almost too good to be true, and if it's too good to be true, it probably ain't true. Not in a bad start. Well, a finish like that would be pretty decent, huh? Damn, I think I ought to quit right about now. Let's get our barrel temp. .93. You know, I think we've got a pretty decent little group down there. I did take a little, I did widen the sight out a little bit this morning on the left hand side. I was shooting a little to the right here the day before. Apparently things may be working out right. So I've been shooting a couple halfway decent groups here, and maybe some folks interested in how I've been loading those. I've just been putting this 1.cc dipper into the powder here, and I'll blow off the top, as they would say when you're drinking a beer. Make sure I got the funnel in the right spot here, because I'm going to shut the camera up. Yeah, with a double charge that one, so good thing I checked. I put 3 of these in before. And number 4, 5. I use a funnel so I can get the powder not hanging up on the sides where some of my goo might be from my lube. And also, of course, easier to... Oh, look at there. Check that out, because it's interesting. It started to plug on the bottom, and I've got myself 1 or 2 charges in there that didn't drop through. That would not have been a good thing. Let's see what we got going on here. Take this out in the sunlight so I can look at her. Okay, I'm not sure this will show up on the camera, but I've got some really uneven powder amounts in there. So what we're going to have to do is dump this back into the dish here, and find something here like this to in that funnel out. Of course, now we got an issue with some powder granules in there, but I'm not seeing much. I'll take her out in the light and look at it. There's barely anything left in there. Let's give it a good wrap. Start over again. Sure enough, you want to demonstrate how something should be done. One of Murphy's laws. If anything can go wrong, it will. Alright, so let's take that from the ground up. Quite often what I've done, I get in the habit after I load this cylinder up. Of course, I'm loading out of the gun, makes a huge difference. But I will take a look in there and just see if there's anything that looks strange. Did I put powder in that one or not? I can barely walk and talk at the same time. You got to focus when you're doing this. I'm trying to record for the camera. This isn't necessarily a good thing. Okay, take a look in there. Yeah, they all look even to me, so. Alright, next part of my operation will be to get the 451 round ball seated down on top of that powder. And I don't pay any attention, in heaven, for the last 2 or 3 groups, well, pretty much all day or all the time I shoot. When I'm using lube, I don't need to worry about that sprue cutoff spot right there, whether you put it straight up. What you don't want normally is going on the side like this, because you can get a flash, especially if that's cut off kind of tangential to the ball and leaves a little indent there. You might get a flash going by that into your powder and set off a chain fire. So good practice is to load that up. I suppose you could load it straight down, but you can't see where it is then, so I load that straight up. And in case where I'm doing this, I just drop them on because I'm putting lube on top of that ball afterwards, and I'm not concerned about the orientation of it at all. So I just drop them on there. Right, once that's done there, we can look at them. They're all pretty even. Next part's my secret weapon here with a lube that I use in there. It shows up on camera. Get that right down in there and get on top of the ball. I normally want to check that afterwards, make sure that everything is covered. I have to go back and hit a couple spots if I missed them. And if it shows up on camera, that's kind of what that looks like when I get done with the lube in there. Too stiff, it'll be like chunks. It'll just blow out and won't do the job for you. And of course, too loose, it'll all run out on the table and or your shooting bench or in your holster or whatever you got. So it's kind of finicky that way. Works out okay when you're shooting online or something, and you can keep this thing here out of the sun, and you get the right consistency of your mixture here of your lube. It seems to work well. So next thing to do would be to cap this up, put it back in the gun. They claim not to cap these cylinders when they're out in case you drop one. Now Clint Eastwood didn't worry about that too much in Pale Rider, but you know, we're gonna do that. I have to admit, sometimes I'll cheat and put the caps on right here. Right now I'm using Remingtons, and these things are like gold right now. Same with the black powder as far as that goes. Go-X isn't doing anything. So anyway, I'll back in the gun and cap these up. Like I said, sometimes I'll cap them up right here and just, you know, take them over. I only got 2 foot to move to the bench. And I'm getting to the age where hopefully if this thing drops and the cap goes off, it catches me in the right spot and I ain't got to worry about things anymore. Okay, that said, we'll get this back in the gun, cap her up, and shoot. That'll be string number 4 for us today with the lubes. String number 4, using our lube here. Had pretty nice groups here in the first 3. feeling pretty lucky today. If I could afford the gas, I think I'd go to the casino. Get our barrel temp. 92. Seems about right. I'm pretty amazed at this 1860 Army done by Pietta. I think this is around a 2010 version. It's got the 130 twist. I mean, for not a solid frame gun, about a $250 price tag on that. I think when I paid for it somewhere there a few years back. Yeah, I mean I had to do some work on the sights, but I like it.